Formula One will host the first sprint race of the 2022 season this weekend on 23rd April during the Imola Grand Prix. Formula One first introduced this new format in 3 rounds of the 2021 season at Silverstone, Monza and Interlagos. Following a review of sprint race, changes have been made covering a wide range of issues to help improve the format both for the fans and the teams, as F1 continues to experiment with the new format. A sprint race is essentially a short version of a normal race, taking place over a shorter distance. This format is also used in Formula 2. Formula 1 has introduced sprint races to ramp up the excitement of the whole race weekend, providing fans with a competitive session on each of the 3 days of track action. F1 has long been looking to make changes to the traditional race weekend format, and while other options like reverse grid were considered, but they were replaced by the sprint race. Each sprint race will be run over 100 km down from a Grand Prix race distance of 305 km and will take around 25 to 30 minutes. The starting order for the sprint race will be decided by a traditional qualifying session held on Friday. Following F1's review of the sprint race format at 3 events last year, a number of tweaks have been introduced for this season following feedback from fans and teams. Imola, the Red Bull Ring and Interlagos will host the first 3 sprint races in 2022 after Silverstone, Monza and Interlagos held the first ever sprint races last year. F1 had targeted running 6 sprint race weekends in 2022 with the other 3 at Bahrain, Canada and the Netherlands. But this plan was dropped as part of a compromise over the level of compensation for accident damage potentially picked up in the sprint races. The points on offer in each F1 sprint race has increased from last year. The winner will now pick up 8 points rather than 3, with points extending down to 8th place, when previously it had been only the top 3 who picked up points. The points will apply to both F1 World Championships. Like last year, the finishing order in the F1 sprint race will decide the grid for the Grand Prix. This year, the driver who sets the fastest time in Q3 of qualifying on Friday will be given the pole position regardless of their finishing position in the sprint race on Saturday. This means the driver who wins the sprint race won't be credited with the pole position for the Grand Prix even if they start the Sunday race from first position. A major sticking point for the 2022 sprint races was the cost cap, with the compromise agreed to increase team budget as well as reducing the number of sprint races down from 6 to 3. According to F1 regulations, each team will be permitted to spend $150,000 more per sprint race, with an added $100,000 allowed if one of the team's car retire. The sprint race weekend format will remain unchanged, with one 60-minute practice session before qualifying on Friday and then a 60-minute practice session before the sprint race on Saturday. The Sunday Grand Prix remains unchanged. Do you prefer a normal race weekend or the sprint race weekend?